Welcome into episode 137 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. I'm joined once again by Jake Biggie Mills. I'm happy this time it actually went through smoothly with my microphone not cutting off and looking
Yeah, I
like
know, right at the
something
beginning
bad
last
happened.
time, yeah.
Yeah, we had some power issues. I remember I told you after the show
Yeah.
that I don't know what the hell was going on, but something wasn't right here. But we figured it out. Biggie, how we doing? Today should be, before I let you jump in, today should be a little bit of a lesser, show in terms of content, just because there's not really much
Yeah.
going on. But once we get to next week and the week after that, we are really going to start rolling because, September is right around the corner. But I think this is a little appetizer before we get to the main courses next week and the week
Oh,
after.
yeah, this is like the calm before the storm, specifically with our topics, just because after this week, those specific topics that we're discussing today are gonna be filled and filled and filled with stuff to talk about. Right now, there's a good amount of stuff, but I think it's gonna be even more. It's gonna be exploding next week.
Oh, without a doubt, especially right up your alley. I mean, even we get a little taste of it this week with college football, but next
Yes.
week is the full slate of college.
Yes.
Obviously, they call
Yes.
this week 0, which I never heard of up until a couple of years ago. But it's
No, it's
becoming
a
a
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It's becoming a thing, so we got to adopt it and go with it. And then obviously, week 1 will be next week, and the week after that will be the NFL week 1, which we'll have to figure out when we can adjust the show because opening night of the NFL is on a Wednesday this year, which
Yeah,
throws a
I
lot
know.
of things off. So we'll have to figure that out when we get to it. But plenty of good stuff. And as we get closer and closer, we're going to give more predictions. Especially with college, I want to hear your thoughts on what this college season is going to look like. Because for me, I feel like right now we'll get to it later, but a little bit of a teaser. I think it's more open than people think, but that could just be me saying it just because. But we'll get to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we preview week 0 and all that good stuff. But let's start with the NFL. Preseason is ready at week 3, so that's kind of happened quick, right? We
Yeah,
thought
I know.
we just started the preseason. Now we're at the end, and the
I
roster
know,
cut
yeah.
down will be Sunday, I believe. It's like Sunday at like 4 o'clock or something like that, when
Mhm.
every team has to get down to 53. Biggie, I want to get, obviously I know you didn't play in the NFL, but I want to get your thoughts on. Obviously, it's kind of a stupid thing to say, but I want to get your thoughts on like some of these guys that are really battling, right, for like a roster spot, like maybe
Yeah.
the 5th or 6th receiver spot, or the 8th offensive lineman to be the last guy to make the team. How important is game 3? Because it feels like now in preseason week 3, the starters don't even play anymore. That's just totally out of the
Yeah,
question,
no.
right?
When you get this point in the preseason in the NFL, none of your starters are playing, and this is when coaches want to see these guys who are on the cusp of making the 53-man roster do
Mhm.
something. Yeah, but mainly it's if they've done something already. Now,
Right.
there's probably some
Okay.
guys that haven't done much, that haven't showed much throughout the preseason, and they're like, okay, we're not going to really look out for him. But if there's someone who's been shown some flashes, made some nice plays, they're going to be looking this week. This is the week for them to look. So this is probably where you want to play your best, and this is where they're going to get the most reps. Yeah, it does determine a lot. A lot of people don't even really think that much goes into it, but it really does. And I'll even do a personal anecdote on a story of mine
Okay.
on
Let's
my
hear
playing
it.
days, my glorious 2 years of Division III college football. So we had an away game at Keystone College, which is only about kind of
Yeah.
close to where you went to college, JD.
Yeah. Not
Up
far.
that way, not far from where you went.
Hmm.
But from Wilkes is about 45, 50 minutes. So um, it was a quicker game. So they were going to take more kids on the bus because I never traveled once in my 2 years, never one time. A lot of kids didn't because D3 rosters are big and they only take like 70 some kids. I know it sounds like a lot, but D3 rosters are in the 130 to 150 range sometimes. Some schools go over that, like way over that. Like I know some that are almost in the 200s, and it's like
Yeah. Of
crazy. I know. Yeah, I know. It's a moneymaker for the school. But anyway, that's
course.
besides the point. So that week I was like kind of like, okay, I'm a local kid. Maybe they'll take me. Maybe they'll take me because our offensive line room was like 3 or 4 deep, 3 deep at some positions. It was 4 deep at mine. So I was thinking, all right, maybe they'll take me. And I was close. They were thinking about it. So they're playing a lot of the 3s and 4s in practice, and I get in, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm not doing bad. I'm like, all right, I might go to this game Saturday. That'd be cool just to travel. You know what I mean? I already at that point in my sophomore year, I knew I was done. Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm done with this after this year. I'm just sticking it out this season. But I'm like, it'd be cool to at least travel one time while I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So I I'm in practice. I'm doing pretty well. And this is the first year we had an OC. And like, I can't use that as an excuse because this was week 7 already. So I can't use that as an excuse. But I'm going to. So we had a play and we were running our no huddle, like quick offense. And I forget exactly what the call is. Go figure. It was for on 2. And I went after the first hut. And yeah. And it was just, I could see my position coach just put his hand in his face. So after that practice, I'm like, yep, I am not going to Keystone College. And I didn't. I ended up going. I was like they actually took more offensive linemen and more kids than usual, and I was one of the ones that got left out. So
damn.
Yeah. Yeah, but that does, like, seriously, that's actually funny you bring that up because I could tell that story. Yeah, certain instances like that, they'll look at you at these weeks, for sure. This is when they're gonna look at them. You're not gonna see any starters playing.
Right. And the point you made it for me. I was going to come up with a follow up right back at you for it. But what I was going to say was the fact that pretty much these guys have had to show something before now to really show like they're okay. We're pushing to make a roster spot. It's kind of too late to make a huge splash at this point. But if you have shown something, they want to see you be consistent enough. Where like, you know what, this guy can make the back end of our roster. He could be a depth piece. He's going to play special team. You answered it for me. That was going to be the next question. Was you basically had to do something already. Like, you know, there's guys that have struggled. They may show something this week, but it's like, you know, their body of work throughout the entire camp and preseason is just not enough for us to feel comfortable putting them on the team. And I feel like one of the important things of this week as well is what like QBs can show that, okay, maybe I'm not going to make this team because this team has 2 really solid quarterbacks, like a really good backup and obviously a starter. But maybe I can do well enough that can set me up to go to another team that doesn't really have a good backup or doesn't feel comfortable with their good backup. So I think that's one of the like really key highlights of like the week 3 preseason games. What quarterbacks maybe can be like, you know what? I'm not going to make this team, but maybe I can make another team, you know, right? Like that.
Yeah, and you know what the crazy thing is? You only see it with the quarterbacks, though. Like, that's not something that happens with a receiver or a linebacker or an offensive lineman. You don't see that. It's only the quarterbacks that happens to, which makes sense. You know what I mean? Because them and offensive linemen are the 2 most important positions. I mean, offensive linemen, you know, it's more of they keep guys around for depth purposes. You know what I mean? But quarterbacks, someone may release a guy and then he'll be somewhere else 2 days later. I mean, you know, that you don't see that with any other. You don't see it with any other position. You don't.
Yeah, we don't. And, you know, there's a name that comes to mind right now. Carson Wentz maybe is a guy that could be somewhere else. Maybe JJ McCarthy actually might get traded or something. We might see that. So like the Vikings are one team that keeps coming to mind is who they're going to keep as the backup, because now Carson Wentz is getting the same amount of reps, and that could be something that we see this week in a game like that, or even with the Falcons. Like, they don't even know if they even have a quarterback right now because they're
a mess.
Yeah, they're a mess. Like, there's a bunch of teams that you think of, and we'll have obviously more clarity on this when we talk about it next week. But that's the things I've been brainstorming in my head. Like, what Aiden O'Connell, he could be a quality backup for a team. He's played before, but he's probably not going to make the Raiders because they have Mendoza and Kirk Cousins, and he's not going to be able to be on the practice squad. So he could be a guy that we may see that floats to another team. Or like, you know, even like my Jets, do they feel comfortable enough to keep Cade Klubnik as the backup? He's played okay, but I personally wouldn't run into the season with him as the guy that's first in line if Geno Smith gets hurt.
You can't.
You can't. No. Yeah, you can't do that. They probably will, but that's what you can't do, I think.
And it's not even and I hate to say this, but for the Jets, it's not the fact of Geno Smith getting hurt. It's the fact of he's going to play horrible by week 6, and they're going to put
that too. Yeah. Right, yeah, that too. I was being nice to him for now until he starts doing, dumb things during the season. Then I'll obviously rip
on and off the field.
Yeah, right. Yeah, both on and off the field. But there's plenty of teams that we could think of. I know Joe Milton has played really good for Dallas. Like, all those types of things. These are the types of things. Yeah, Marty, that's right. We don't have anyone else. Brady Cook is even worse than him, and Bailey Zappi is even worse than him. So yeah, it just continues to get worse. So if I'm the Jets, if I'm one of those other teams, you should consider getting a quality backup. Look at what the Giants have done. They feel probably the most comfortable out of everyone with their backup quarterback in Jameis Winston, because they know he's not going to be a guy that plays, 10 games. If we need him for 2 or 3, we feel comfortable putting him in, and he'll be okay. So that's what I'm getting at here. And staying on the Giants, I should say, Calvin Austin is out for the year with a torn ACL, which is unfortunate for them because obviously, Biggie, he's not the most flashiest name out there, but he's reliable. And he has a role that now needs to be filled. What do you think about this? Because I the first thing I thought of was, Odell, a hometown guy with the Giants. Obviously, they drafted him. Seemed like he was on the roster bubble. I think this kind of pushes him on the roster now because they just lost such a, he was probably been their number 3, Calvin Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, this might put Odell in a bigger role. Who knows?
Which is crazy, right?
Which I don't think anyone has seen would see that coming, but this might have to force him in that role because, I feel like he's obviously not in the same skill level at this moment, like at this current time and point. I mean, at one point he was the best in the league. We know that.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that. But yeah. I was just gonna say he's probably gonna be exactly what I was getting at. He's gonna fill that role.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, right? It's like they do have good tight ends, the Giants. Like I really like the Giants offense because I feel like every piece fits in the puzzle. But yeah, Odell's probably has himself a definite spot on the team. I would be shocked if he gets cut now because they lost.
He wouldn't have anyway. I don't think. I don't
think so either. But I saw now I feel like it's a definite that he's going to make the team. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is working his way back. I know today or yesterday he was practicing without the red jersey on, which means he's allowed to get touched and all that, which shows he's getting better and better. So Calvin Austin, unfortunately, he was probably going to do there. I know they were playing the Dolphins last weekend. He was doing some of their punt return stuff, so I'm sure he was going to do that. Obviously, be the slot receiver. So now they lost him, and see what the Giants pivot to after that. Then the Cleveland Browns named Deshaun Watson as their quarterback 1. Let's see how long that lasts because he is absolutely terrible. I mean, what he's done in the preseason, it looks like he's never played football before, and he hasn't really played in 2 years. Also, off the field trouble we know from a couple years back. The Browns are just a complete mess, and I think that their ownership gets too involved. And this was an ownership decision. I think we can both agree on that. It wasn't Todd Monken, because if Todd Monken had the choice, he probably would have went with Shador or even Dylan Gabriel over Deshaun Watson. But the owners step in, and I think it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks before Watson is not the starter anymore because he's going to play so terribly. What do we think about this Cleveland thing? Because it's just a mess. They're just
it's a disaster.
Right? You just got to laugh at it at this point.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. Are they going to be the worst team in the league after all this?
I think Miami. I was
just going to say I think it's still going to be Miami, but I think Cleveland's going to come very close.
Very close. Yes, very, very close. And yes, Marty, another good point by you. He was getting it at his press conference talking about how the fans were booing him. I don't know if you saw all that, ridiculous. Biggie, that went down. Your fan, if you play well, the fans are always on your side. But if you're picking fights with them, they're going to hate you. So he's going to get booed for every little thing he does. Every little thing he does. So, I don't really understand it. And Cleveland is kind of stuck with him this year. Even the next 2 years after that, they still have to pay him like $90 million if he's on the team or not. So good luck with that. But Cleveland is just a complete dumpster fire as they usually are. I just feel bad for Todd Monken because he's like, we talked about this last week when we were ranking the coaches. We were like, Todd Monken, never been a head coach before. He's a little older guy. He wanted his chance, I guess. So he went with it with Cleveland. But I think he's probably looking at it right now. He's like, why did I go to Cleveland? What did I do? What mistake did I make? Right? It's like a rough time. And Watson is every time I go on Twitter, every day pretty much, I see like Deshaun Watson throwing incomplete passes that bounce like 10 yards away from the receiver, or even in the games itself, the preseason games itself, he looks like an idiot. So I'm like, what is going on here? I'd rather deal with Shador maybe making some mistakes, he's being aggressive.
Exactly.
That,
yeah. Right. Like, exactly.
And
I agree.
People who know me know I'm a big fan of Shador, so I'm kind of upset for him. I really like what Shador brings. Obviously not the most talented guy, but I like his mentality. Like he's confident no matter what the situation is.
Yeah,
he will get his time.
I think the thing with Shador is I don't know if it's more cockiness or confidence. I can't tell sometimes. I really can't.
I think it's the in between. I think it's like he's in the middle with that. But yeah, I can understand where both sides of that people stand on with him. But I mean, he would be a better give him an opportunity other than watching this mess. But hopefully
I agree. I thought he would be, at least. I thought he would be.
I'm like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Why are we still going on with Deshaun Watson? Like, no one cares about the guy anymore.
Did you see his throw? I'm trying to find it right now. The video of his one throw that he had.
It looked like it was like spinning like this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it was
really
I was like,
bad.
what is going on here? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Here it is.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
I mean, what the heck?
Like, what is that? And it wasn't tipped either, by the way. It was
Nope,
not
it
tipped. It was a
wasn't.
straight throw that literally looked like a duck flying in the air
It was
from
like
Deshaun
spinning like
Watson.
this.
Yeah, the sideways. But yeah, let's go to the rest of the NFL news we got here. No more Pro Bowl. I saw this right before we came on.
This was right before
Thank
we
God.
did the show. Yes.
Piggy, thank God, right?
I agree.
Talk to me about how much of a joke the Pro Bowl is, please.
Yeah, it used to be a big thing, and then it just became a joke. The games, and then they tried to do the whole thing with the flag football and the competitions. This just doesn't work. I think you just name it Pro Bowl honors and just give it out as an award or like something. Redo it.
Just put it on their resume at this point.
Put them on the resume because that's all it was anyway. No one after like I don't even know when the last time the Pro Bowl game was actually like something people cared about, but now it's like, it's more of just an honor now. It's an accolade now. It's not like a game anymore.
I mean, even it got to the point where it's like guys are like Snoop. What is it, Snoop Huntley, wherever that guy's name is? He made it. Like I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on with these guys? Like, because no one wanted to play, so it was like, okay, we'll ask him. It was like him or Justin Fields at the time. Like, we're not putting Justin Fields in the game.
No,
so we'll ask Snoop Huntley, who's played 5 games this year. For filling in for Lamar, he played okay. Let's ask him to be in the pro.
Yeah,
they did well. They did well by doing this one. Yeah, been rare good move for the NFL. I agree. I disagree with many things that the NFL does, but this one was good. I also saw the other side of this. There was something that came out today as well with new rules where if you get a certain penalty, I think it's like, horse collar tackles, all those types of things, like personal foul penalties. If you have 3 of those in a season, you wind up getting suspended for a game. I don't know if that's going to be into effect this year. I don't know. I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see that. So when the NFL does do something good, they always have to back it up with something not good or something negative. So, yeah.
Right.
Because listen, those things happen in the game. Sometimes the guy maybe even get a horse collar tackle, but not on purpose. It's just that his hand gets in that part of the guy's jersey or pads, and it happens. Like it's not done on purpose sometimes. So that's like unfortunate. What if the guy gets his 3rd personal foul penalty of the year by something he didn't really intend to do, and then he gets suspended the next game because of it? It's like it's stupid. It's stupid. I think like just give out the penalty, let the guys play. It is what it is, and you move on. Like I don't know why it has to get to another level. Especially like we always say this, the people that put the rules in place never played, so they don't understand. Yeah, hip drop tackle, horse collar tackle, some of those things. Like if you get 3 of them, then you get suspended. Like I don't really understand that because some of them happen like not on purpose. So let me put it that way.
Why are these suspendable offenses? Like most of these are like either like you said they're not intended to be that, and they could be called the wrong way, and a player suspended.
That too, the refs could be wrong, right?
Exactly, the ref could be wrong about it, and it's not even football anymore. What have we gone to? If these are suspendable offenses, what have we gone? What have we done? Like what have we done?
Yeah,
like watch football in the early 90s and you'll be like half the stuff's illegal now. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, like what is going on here?
Football's not football anymore.
I saw yesterday, it was like a Ryan Clark, back in the day when he was with the Steelers, like he used to lay people out. I'd be like,
you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, this guy would have been suspended for like every little thing. He would be suspended every game. He would get ejected from every game, pretty much. Like it's football. Like you're gonna hit each other. Things are gonna happen. Just be.
I know.
Like why? Like why? Yeah, I just don't understand. What sometimes we praise them, but then we have to get on them when they don't do something right. And then another thing that came into place, this was a tricky one because I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing that could happen up until like a couple days ago. So the NCAA is not allowing guys who are with NFL teams in camp and preseason to come back and play in college this coming season, which obviously it should be the way it is. Like why is that happening too? Now that's been shut down. I believe the Big Ten as a conference came together first and shut it down, and now it's becoming an NCAA rule. What was it? There was a tight end from the Browns, got cut from the Browns, and then is going to play for LSU.
That should not be allowed. Like if you played any NFL snap, preseason camp, anything, you should not be allowed to go play an NCAA game. I don't even know why that was a thing in the first place. But like, come on, like you can't have that happen. That's ridiculous.
I mean, come on. Like, okay, so this guy can be on an NFL strength and conditioning program, learn the NFL way, and be like, you know what? I got cut. I'm going to go back to playing college. Like, it's so stupid. Like the whole college thing is another topic for another day. Like the whole eligibility thing, that is where this started, and NIL not being regulated, that's another thing. But once it's getting involved in someone being in a pro setting, this has happened now in basketball, but they're not stopping it in the NBA. I mean, I seen it today. A guy that was on the G League, in the G League, he's now going back to college. Like these are things that are happening in basketball as well, which I think needs to be shut down. This needs to be shut down. Every sport needs to. Well, baseball obviously doesn't really happen, but basketball,
the whole thing's going to be shut down.
Yeah,
the whole thing's going to be shut down.
It truly needs to stop. Like, why do you need to be 25 years old playing college sports still? Like, move on.
Don't get it.
Yeah, move on. Like, if you're not good enough for the pros, okay, now go work. Like, go get a job and move on with your life. And it's just these guys, like, they take advantage. I mean, listen, if I'm the player in that situation, and no one's gonna stop me from doing it, all right, I'm gonna do it because no one's telling me I can't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand it. I understand the ruling of it, but still, at the same sense, like, you got to put rules in place that prevent these guys from just doing whatever they want. Then let's move on to the divisional ranking. So obviously I did a couple of tiers lists the last couple of weeks, which I've gotten some good feedback on. Someone on TikTok told me last week it was the worst tiers list they've ever seen. So thank you for that.
It's okay. You should have saw. Did you read the comments on our high school District 2, like the high school?
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Speaking of that, we have video premiering on TJ Productions tomorrow night, 7 p.m.
Yeah,
me, EJ, and the J-Man all discussing that. So if you had any questions, I'm sure a lot of our viewers know exactly all about District 2, Northeastern PA high school football, because your audience is from there. So obviously, they all know that. But yeah, just tune in anyway. Yeah, I get it. I got a lot of comments about that, so I can understand you.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, you know what? You didn't even bother to come answer me back when I said, okay, provide me with your list. So how is it that bad if you can't give me yours? But we're going to continue to do them because we just love it so much in the NFL. But let's do this week the division ranks. So we're not going to predict the divisions yet because we will do that right before the season starts. But we're going to predict like the strength of the division. So obviously, the four teams in each division who ranks 1 through 8, obviously the 8 different divisions in the NFL. So number 1 for me has to be the NFC West. I don't think that's really an argument just because
that's not. No,
I was going to say it can't be an argument just because the Rams and the Seahawks are so good. The 49ers are usually competitive if they're healthy, which I think they will be this year. Usually the year after they're not healthy, they're healthy, and then the next year they won't be healthy. So they're on a good year. I think San Francisco. Right. Obviously, the Cardinals suck, so they don't help the situation.
Yeah, that's the only place where I could maybe put an argument of flipping 1 and 2, just because I think I don't know if you want me to say it yet. Am I okay to say it yet?
Yeah, you could say it. Yeah, you could say it.
So number 2, the NFC North. I think their weakest link is the Vikings. Personally,
but much better than Arizona.
But they're much better than Arizona, so that could be the only argument. But I think the Rams and Seahawks are much better teams than the Packers and the Lions. Like, not much better, but better on that realm. So they have the 2 juggernauts in that automatically puts them ahead. That's the only argument I could see that, a conference, with their weakest link being better than the top's weakest link. But I think the 2 top teams in there are better than the 2 top in the other. So then that ultimately matters in the end more.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say the Rams and the Seahawks are at least they're both in the top 3 of the NFC this year, coming in at least.
Absolutely.
Obviously, definitely the Rams. The Rams are definitely the best team in the NFC. And I think Seattle's up there. I think Seattle's in that, that 3 range. They're pretty good from what we discussed. And then San Francisco and Arizona. Then number 2, like you just said, NFC North, the Lions, the Packers, and the Bears should be in playoff conversation. We'll see exactly if that happens or not. And then Minnesota's just a wild card. Like, you don't know what we're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to get, right?
Is Kyler Murray?
They're going to be probably a 7 or 8 win team every year. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Like, you know what I mean? But you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, last year, they had 8 wins, 7. Like you just said, they were in that range and they really had no quarterback play. If Kyler Murray plays good, above average, the Vikings can be a really good team because they do have a lot of talent besides, Justin Jefferson. They have good talent, obviously, over there. Then number 3, I have the AFC West. I think the AFC West is very good just because Denver is going to be really good again. I think Kansas City is going to bounce back. LA, the Chargers, probably. Like the Chargers are always a playoff team, even if they don't win in the playoffs. They usually do make the playoffs. and the Raiders are the Raiders. I don't think they're going to be very good, but
they'll be better. They'll be better.
I think they'll be better. Yeah, I think they'll be a little bit better. Obviously, last year was a disaster for them, and if they do finish with the same record, that means a lot went wrong. But I think the AFC West, 3 teams that should be in contention once again for the playoffs. And then I got number 4, the AFC North. AFC North, always competitive. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, and Browns, obviously. I think the Steelers would be always what the Steelers do. They're 10 wins and make the playoffs. I think the Browns are going to suffer.
They're going to be bad.
Yeah, they're going to be really bad. I think the Bengals have a chance at improving just because they signed so many guys on defense that are talented. Yeah. Just will they put it together is what we talked about, a few times already. But I think they're going to be better. And then the Ravens, I think the Ravens will be pretty good. Obviously, new coach, but I think they should be good, right? Like that's kind of
they'll still be good. There. The talent's still there, I think, and the coach isn't that bad either. So I mean, it's not like they went off the rails with a coaching hire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And then this is where I had 4 and 5 very, very close together. But I just went with AFC North as number 4 because they're more proven teams that have done it more recently. But number
besides
5, I
one,
have the
obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say besides one. I have the NFC East at number 5. Obviously, the Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. I think this division has the potential to move in their way up to number 3 by the end of the year. But that's just
I agree.
I'm giving them.
We have to see it though.
Yeah, we have to see it happen first. Like I think the Giants are much improved. I think Dallas is actually improved. I think the Eagles are still going to be really good, and the Commanders are a question mark too. Like, what Commanders team are we going to see?
Yeah, the NFC East has the most upside. So like they have the potential to be all really, really good. We know the Giants, they're going to be, on paper they should be phenomenal, but you never know what happens. We don't know till we see it, right?
Yep.
But they should be for sure. The Eagles are going to be good because the talent level there. I mean, I can't deny that. As much as I'm not down on them per se, but I just think this year is going to be a little screwy, and I think this is going to be kind of a similar tale of what we saw last year from the Eagles. And then the Cowboys, I think, are going to be very, very improved. New defensive coordinator in there, which is good because that was their horrible. They needed that bad. The offense was pretty good. And the Commanders were just injury. Let's say Commanders are banged up. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, you actually have Dallas winning the division.
Wow,
that's not a bad pick. I think all of them really except Commanders. Yeah, I was just gonna say. We'll see how Mannion is. We'll see how he is.
He's never called plays before, right?
I know. That's what I'm worried about. Every time we bring a guy on that hasn't called plays before, you see how it goes. Patullo, Johnson. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. The long list of guys. Then number 6, I have the list here. I'm flipping it now that I've looked at it. AFC East is going to be at number 6 for me. Bills and Patriots are going to be very good, but then the other half of the division is going to be very, very bad. But I think the 2 teams of the Buffalo and New England being very good outweighs what the 2 bad teams are going to be in Miami and the Jets. And I think that's what step up of number 7 AFC South. I think that's what gives the AFC East the edge just by a little bit, is that their 2 teams, the Bills and the Patriots, are better than any of the teams in the AFC South.
Yeah, I just think the AFC. I think the AFC South is just a little more well-rounded, though. That's the only argument I could see why they'd be one higher, because all those teams are pretty evenly matched up. And yes, I think the Titans are going to be in that realm of all those teams this year. That's what I think. I just think the Dolphins and Jets are just so below the Bills and Patriots, like the talent gap, like
not
the
even
record
close.
gap. It's not even close. The AFC South is the most balanced, I think. They're the most balanced division. Them or the NFC East, they're the 2 most balanced, I'd say. Because all the other ones, I mean, you look at it, the Cardinals in the NFC West, are going to be bad. Lions, now the NFC North can also be very balanced too, but I think the AFC South is probably the most. And then you look at the AFC West, I mean, the Raiders were awful this year. They probably won't be anywhere near what the Chiefs and the Broncos are going to be. And then the Browns are in the AFC North. And then the NFC East, the Commanders can go, do what they did last year. The AFC South, I think all these teams have the potential and are most likely to all be very similar. You know what I mean? The upside is even bigger on this than the NFC East. I just think the teams in the NFC East are better, but these AFC South teams are more even.
I agree. I was going back and forth with that one pretty much all day. Houston obviously has been really good, and their defense is no joke, as we continue to say. I think the Titans could be improved. It just depends on what Cam Ward shows up. He has not looked good in the preseason so far, but we've always seen it where guys don't look good in the preseason and all of a sudden they turn it on when the regular season goes down because they've been working on things in the preseason and then they're able to figure it out. I agree with you. And then number 8, I think we can all agree the worst division that has improved. It has improved, but still I feel is the worst division.
They're still pretty bad.
Yeah, the NFC South, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. I think the Saints are going to be an improved team. Carolina should be where they were again this year. Tampa Bay, we talked about this last week. We think they're actually going to be worse. And then the Falcons are just a complete mess, in my opinion. I just don't think they have any quarterback. They really don't, right?
They don't. Who's going to play? I mean, Nacho Cheesebrain or Michael Penix or –
yeah, I mean, Tua was playing because Penix isn't even available to play yet.
I know he's hurt, right?
Yeah. So Tua's going to start. How long will he last? Is the question. And will he even be able to play enough until? Well, if Tua goes down, then who the hell do they play? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Who's supposed to be next?
They have some undrafted guy that I never even heard of, but supposedly he's getting a ton of reps, obviously, because Penix is out as well. So it's so. Justin, I know you said that last week too. I don't see it. I really don't.
If you don't, I know you'll make the argument that they have great receivers and all that, but who do you have to throw to them? That's that. You could say all you want about You're right. That's what I'm getting at here. Then, like, you could say, oh, there's we got oh my God, the tight end's name. Kyle Pitts. Got Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. Look at that, guys. We're gonna be so good. Yeah, who's throwing to Pitts? Who's throwing to these guys? Right? No one. Right? And their line, the line's good, but again, that quarterback can have all the time in the world. If he can't throw, he can't throw. He can't play quarterback. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's around him or what's in front of him. If he has no brains or has no talent, it's not going to work. But yeah, that was the division rankings. We will post those obviously tomorrow and post those out. And then we will get to more NFL predictions, especially the show right before. So we'll see what we can schedule. But the show right before week 1 is where we will give specific predictions in terms of the standings of the teams and maybe an MVP like we did last year. If for those watching, if you remember. But yeah, we'll be more specific with that. And next week we'll probably do another tiers list. We'll get to that again before the season. Let's go to the MLB. We pretty much only have a standings update just because the other headlines are boring that we're not really going to bore you guys with.
It's been boring.
It really has. I'm going to be honest with you. It really has not been all that fun. But let me do. Yeah, well, Vin, we usually do like the pick 'em, so we'll probably just pick the Thursday night game of every week. We'll probably do that, or we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We haven't really decided yet, but last year we would do maybe 1 game a week, 2 games a week. We do some stuff like that. That's usually where we have our fun with the picks. It becomes I was
gonna say we usually do the Thursday night game, or we'll do the big primetime college football game.
Yeah,
we'll
right.
Change it up. Let's change it up.
Yeah, we'll see on the week. I mean, if it's a terrible Thursday game, we're not going to even.
Which most of them are.
Yeah, but I did see the first 2 weeks are going to be really good Thursday games, so we'll probably do that. The Rams and San Francisco, I think, and then the Lions and the Bills, I believe, are the first 2 games. So we'll see with that one. But let's go to this MLB where I'll kick us off with the standings in the National League. The NL East, we got the Braves at 77-55. So they've been playing kind of average ball, but still have been so good this year that they're in first place. But they better watch out because the Phillies are hot right now. They're at 74-60, and they're 8-2 in their last 10, just 4 games out. So they've cut into that lead a little bit. I don't know if the Phillies are going to have enough to overtake the Braves, but 4 games is really not that much. They got 30 something left. Like, it's possible, especially if they have head-to-head matchups, which they should coming up. I think the Phillies do have a chance, but I don't know if it'll happen. Then we got the Miami Marlins at 67-66. They're 10.5 out of first, so don't worry about that. But they're in the wild card race, which we'll get to in a second. Then we have the Nationals at 62-72. They have completely fallen apart, which we said at some point it was going to happen. They just have no pitching. So at some point when you have no pitching, things are going to catch up to you. And that's exactly what happened. And then we get the Mets in last place, as they've been all year pretty much, at 60-72. They are 13-6 since the trade deadline, but obviously they've been so far out of it, and they're losing 7-1 tonight. That don't really matter at all. Then we got the NL Central. We have the Brewers at 81-51. Brewers continue to do their thing. Did lose to the Mets last night, so that's unfortunate. for them, that's not a loss they're probably happy about. But they are still 30 games over 500. And we have the Cubs at 76 and 58. They've struggled a little bit recently, but they're still they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a difference if they can make up ground and win a division, which I don't think they will. They'll probably be a wild card team. And we have the Cardinals at 66 and 67. They have fallen out of it, which I said it would happen at some point. It just happened a little later. They just have
they got too hot at the beginning. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you notice this in the MLB. Like, teams will get really hot. It's usually the ones that start out really hot that plummet at this time. Look at the Yankees last year. Look at how hot of a start they got off to last April, and then they just, July and August they fell off. Like, that's why I was happy they started a little slow, because look at them now. You know what I mean? Like,
they're playing well.
Yeah,
they're playing well. I agree. And the Cardinals just aren't ready for postseason baseball just yet. They have some work to do. Then we had the Pirates, same thing, 65 and 70. They were another team that was in the playoff race, and they've fallen down.
And we're hot in April.
They were. But good for them. That Skeens pitched last night very well, and his velo was up, so maybe he did something. I don't know what he did, but he looked better last night. And then we got the Reds, who've been in last all year, 63 and 71 in minus 101 run differential. So they get beat pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And then the NL West, where we have the Dodgers still in first, and they've been better. They've overcome that losing streak. They're at 80 and 52. Brewers are ahead of them, though. So if the season ended, the Dodgers wouldn't have complete home field advantage. And then we have the Padres at 72 and 62. They continue to play good baseball. Now 10 games over 500, so they're really starting to separate themselves a little bit, but they have to, because the Diamondbacks are right there as well at 71 and 63. They're the first team out, which we'll get to. They are 500 team in their last 10 games. And then we have the Giants and the Rockies continuing their ways very low in the National League West. The NL West, I should say. And then the NL leaders in the playoffs, we have the Brewers at the number 1 seed, Dodgers number 2, Braves are your number 3 seed, and then the NL wild card would be the Cubs, Phillies, Padres, and we have the Diamondbacks at 1 game out, and the next closest team is Miami at 4.5, which is, they're kind of in it, but they're not, and then the Cardinals are 5.5 out, so it's really becoming a 4-team race for 3 spots, but we'll see which team is left out. And right now it's Arizona, but I think that Arizona Padres thing can go back and forth. And if the Phillies slip up a little bit, they can wind up in that spot as well. But yeah, that's the National League. What do we got going on in the American League?
Yeah, so in the AL East, the Tampa Bay Rays are still in first. They keep finding ways to win themselves and making it harder for the Yankees to get that first place. Like we said, they are playing well, but Tampa Bay just keeps on going. I mean, they've held that spot. The Yankees are 4 games behind. It doesn't even feel like that, right?
No. I was going to say the Rays just find ways to win, and for them at least
when they need to.
And at least for them today, Freddie Peralta, who's the Mets traded over to them, he's been terrible, but he was really good today. So maybe that would even be an added bonus for Tampa Bay if he can find himself a little bit.
Yeah, and then in third, the Boston Red Sox, who have been very good. We keep saying it. I mean, wow, they turned right behind us, man. It's getting scary. Baltimore, still just not a great year.
Say just Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso. 31 home runs.
I mean, Pete Alonso's playing great in Baltimore, but the rest of the team stinks. And then Toronto, biggest fall off I've ever seen. Oh my goodness, poor Blue Jays, poor Corey. My God.
Shout out Corey.
Yeah, right. The AL Central, Chicago White Sox still leading. Still, the Guardians are only 2 games behind them.
They've been really good though.
Yeah, they have. Minnesota's in third. Tigers and Royals, nothing to say there. Royals are 9-1 in their last 10. Though.
I don't know where the hell and they're still 59 and 74.
Yeah, they still don't have 60 wins. I mean, my goodness. Oh wow. And then the AL West, the Astros lead 66 and 66. The Rangers right behind them. The Mariners in third at 64 and 70, and then the bottom 2. Oh my God, the A's and the Angels are at 52 wins apiece. My God, that's bad.
100 losses are both coming for those teams.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Them, the Rockies and the Giants are going to be 100 loss teams.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah, I mean
the Rockies, dude. The Rockies don't even have. Or no, they just eclipsed. They have 51 wins. They just eclipsed that not too long ago.
I was gonna say, remember last year we did it like we were like, when will they get 50 wins? Like we kept like keeping a tracker of it. It was so far.
I know. It was.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we did it. And we did it when they were trying to get 10 wins.
yeah, we did. Yeah, that took them like 3 months last
I
year. They did
know.
get that a little earlier this year, but I was going to say the Royals are on a 9-game winning streak. So before that, they had 50 wins and still with the 7. Yeah, they I don't know how a team could be that bad and go on a long winning streak like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, pretty much the American League is continuing to stink it up. No one has
Yeah.
80 wins yet. The Rays are the closest, and only 3 teams have over 70 wins. So compare that
I
to the
know.
National League, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the White
And
Sox
to
are your
say
2 seed.
the wild card right now is the Yankees, Red Sox, and Guardians. I mean, the Cleveland Guardians could be in the postseason.
Yeah, but with the way they've played this year, they played terrible all year, and they're
Yeah, and they
probably
still
going to
have the
make it.
last wild card spot right now.
Yeah, they're probably going to make it. And they're because their pitching will carry. The Rangers are close. The Orioles, Twins and Blue Jays are 3.5, 3 games out, like in that range. But I mean, the Orioles have been like Pete Alonso has been so good that it's like, okay, can he carry them into the playoffs? I just don't think it's going to be good enough. And yeah, Vin, I agree with you too. The Mariners, they went in on this offseason and try to get better, and they didn't.
I know.
I don't know why.
And
they
I was
didn't,
expecting them to be very good. I was expecting them once playoffs came to give the Yankees some trouble, and it's not happening. They're not even going to make it.
Very disappointing. They need a little bit of a reset. I don't know why. Them and the Blue Jays have been disappointing, but the Blue Jays you can understand because they went deep in the playoffs, all that stuff. The Mariners were really primed to make a run, and they just fell on their face pretty much. And they allow an Astros team that's not even close to what they used to be in first place and maybe get the division in their hands. But the Rangers are obviously very close as well, and will make a run at them. Yeah, I think I said it actually. I think I said Seattle was making the World Series. We have to go back.
A lot of people did.
I believe I said that back in March. I mean, I can look after the show, but I think I did say that at one point that I thought that
it wasn't crazy to say that though. That was realistic.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I really thought they would. I really thought they would be able to, make a huge run, but I don't know. They just have not had a good year, and it's getting too late to even make a comeback. Let's go to the NBA where we have Klay Thompson. He's in the news because he's going to Miami Heat.
I didn't even know he was still in the league, JD.
I was going to say he's fell off tremendously from what he used to be. But
he had a quick fall off too. Like a lot of guys get old, but he had a really quick one. It seemed like.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he kind of fell off pretty quickly. I mean, listen, for Miami, I think it's a good pickup just because he could still definitely score. He's not what he used to be, but he could still put up 12 to 15 points a game, make a couple of threes, and help the spacing for what the Heat are looking to do. Because Giannis obviously needs shooters around him, so Klay Thompson being there helps. But it's not something that's huge, but we just want to talk about it because the NBA hasn't really had much news going on. I know Benedict Mathurin, thank God he is not on the Pacers anymore because every time Justin would probably love this because he hate the Pacers or whatever. Mathurin always killed the Knicks, so thankfully he is now gone, and he's with the Pelicans, who have no bearing on what the Knicks may do in this upcoming season. And then DeMar DeRozan goes to the Denver Nuggets. That's a sneaky good move that people are going to forget about until the season starts because DeRozan can still play. I don't care if he's going to be a bench player or not. He could still score, so watch out for him. He probably will start a little bit. But yeah, Denver making that move on August 26th when camp and all that happens very soon. Sneaky move. Let's remember that Denver went and waited this long to bring in DeRozan, who was waiting for the right opportunity, but he could still play. So watch out for that one when the season starts. But now let's get to Biggie's bread and butter. The college football season is starting this weekend.
Yes.
Week 0 is here. So Biggie, I want you to preview. Obviously, not every game, but the ones that you really like and you're looking forward to. I know there's a few good ones, some bad ones. I know that I've seen a few that I'm like, what the hell? Why are these teams even playing this week? But take me through the slate. Which games you like? What games you excited for? What teams you think can actually be really good this year, or someone that could be play a lot some spoiler as well. And also, we are predicting the Hawaii versus Stanford game, so stay tuned for that before we sign off.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? The FCS actually has a lot of good games this week. Like, I know no one really talks about it, but there are some games that are like conference deciders in week 0 here. I mean, William and Mary and Villanova should be good, but did you hear what's going on with Villanova and their quarterback?
No, I didn't.
So Villanova's quarterback, I guess, it was a whole court thing of him trying to get eligibility. And I guess the court didn't pass it or something like that. But the NCAA made a ruling that if he even takes if he plays one snap of football for Villanova, they have to forfeit the game. And he's still on the team. So I don't know what that's going on there. But yeah, I mean, there's some really good games up in the FCS this week. I mean, there actually is gonna be some really good ones. I'm surprised. Lafayette and Georgetown. Lafayette is usually pretty solid. Yeah, I just know a lot of the NEC and stuff like that, and Patriot League. Like I said, Villanova and William Mary. New Haven's playing their first game. I believe their first game at the or their second. They're playing their second year at the FCS level. New Hampshire, New Albany. Um, Robert Morris at Wagner. I had to throw that in because you're a Staten Island guy. No.
Wagner.
Lehigh and Holy Cross would be very good.
Crowd of 12 people will be there.
Yep. Lehigh and Holy Cross. Lehigh made a big run last year. Yeah, that's another good one. There's a couple more here. I want to find them before I move over to the FBS. That's what people care about mainly, but still. So there's some really good games here. Like I said, let's see. There's another one here. There was another one I saw that I really liked. Colgate and Fordham should be okay. Let's see. They're starting tomorrow, by the way.
I was gonna say it said Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. Maine and Towson should be a good game. Yeah, that's pretty much it though for the FCS. But there's some teams like Lehigh and Villanova. Like I said, that are playing big games to start the season in week 0. I mean, huge. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's go into the FBS though. That's what people want to hear. Let's go into Saturday. TCU and UNC. I hate to tell you, folks, UNC is going to be even worse than last year. I think it was a mess last year, and I don't think it's going to get much better. San Jose State at USC. That game is going to be a pretty big blowout. USC's 14, and I think they're going to play well. NC State of Virginia. This is going to be one of the better games this week that people aren't going to talk about much because everyone's going to have eyes on UNC and TCU or Stanford and Hawaii, and no one's going to look at this NC State Virginia game, but it is going to be very, very good. It's going to be like fireworks, I think, because these are two teams that I think are sleepers for the ACC this year.
I was going to say a conference game in week 0. I don't know if I've ever even seen that before.
I know.
Weird.
It's very weird, but I'm rolling with it. I love it as an ACC guy as well. I really like that. New Mexico State at Florida State. Florida State should beat them, but don't expect the spread is 30.5. I would take New Mexico State plus. I think they're not going to beat them, but I don't think they're going to win by more than 30. You know what I mean? Memphis UNLV, that will be a good game. It's a 10:00 game. But my favorite game this week is NC State and Virginia. That game is going to be very, very good. Stanford and Hawaii is always a really good game too. I'm looking forward to that. I always like watching that game. I think Stanford should be. I think the thing with me is this game. I think whoever's home wins. Like I always pick the home team in this one to win, and I think Stanford's home, so I think they're gonna win this one. But yeah, I mean, pretty good week 0 to say the least.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's a little taste into what's coming up, and then we had a question. I don't know if you saw it or not from CT. Is Bailey? That's the quarterback. Is CJ right? CJ Bailey. Is he still with them?
Let me double check because I want to say yes.
I believe he is. I believe he is with them.
Let me double check. Yes, he is. He's still there. He's very good, CT. You got that right.
So keep an eye on him. I was going to say that's probably the most intriguing game, like you just said, in terms of everything that.
Yeah, it's two really good AC. It's two teams that I think are like dark horses to win the not like my thing. Miami is this year again. I think they're the favorites and they're my favorite to win the ACC. But again, they somehow always find a way to lose it. And I think NC State of Virginia has a real shot at least making the game or winning it. I think they're the two dark horses. Yeah. The two of the top dark horses for the ACC.
All right. So that's the week 0 talk. We will obviously recap any of the good ones next week, and then we'll get into the week 1 preview, which is week 1 starts next Thursday too for FBS. So
yeah, I was gonna say Rutgers plays on Thursday, dude.
Yeah, Rutgers, Colorado. I see playing Georgia Tech here. Utah.
I think Georgia Tech's going to win that one. To hear my prediction, I have to look at the spread so I don't sound crazy.
6.5 for Georgia Tech. They're favored.
I think it's going to be more than that.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on to that. We'll get into that one. Yeah, we'll get into that one next week. Yeah. I was actually just looking for that. CT. Who's VT play their first game? Let me see.
VT, they play. I want to say I got it right now. There's Syracuse, New Hampshire. Go Orange. Can't wait for that. I'll be there.
Virginia the VMU. What is it?
Oh,
VMI.
VMI.
Yeah,
VMI. Yeah. Oh, they'll
yeah.
win that one. They should
Yeah,
win that
it
one.
says they're 50 and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
cover
so
that. They
they'll
will
start
100%
well.
cover that.
They
Yeah.
will start well. Let's move to how you doing. So I just want to talk about the Mets pretty quickly here because I saw something that kind of intrigued me that has nothing to do with the on the field stuff. I don't know if this it's kind of been flying under the radar a little bit, but the Dodgers seem to be in a little bit of trouble in terms of that financial situation, which, I don't think anybody expected that right after deferring payments for the next 35 years.
Whoa.
But I do want to say, I saw that some of the ownership involved with the Dodgers have reached out to Steve Cohen in his financial, obviously side of things, not his ownership of the Mets, his other stuff that he does, because obviously he's a finance guy, asking Steve Cohen for help. And people were like, "Oh, what's Steve Cohen going to do?" I think Steve Cohen is actually going to maybe help them because he wants to make some money and be, make more money than he already has. But if you're Steve Cohen as the Mets owner, you should be like, how would I help you? You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So that's something to keep an eye on. I was holding that one in until now, but I wanted to talk about that because it's kind of intriguing to me that they're going to someone that is obviously very good with money. Steve Cohen, with other stuff in his life, hasn't done well with the Mets, but other things in his life he's done very well with. Let's see if he actually helps the Dodgers out and helps them. I wouldn't help them. I would let them keep digging their own hole until they can't get out of it. Screw the
I would love
Dodgers.
that. Yeah.
That would be great. And they crumble and they lose all the good players they have because they can't pay them because they're a bunch of scam artists. But yeah, if I'm the Mets, and I mean, if I'm Steve Cohen, I wouldn't help them. I want to help my Mets, and hopefully they can be good with that. And then really that's really it. I know the Knicks have created some news off the court because some weddings they've been attending and the partying they've been doing, so they're having fun. That's been fun. But the Knicks should be coming up soon. Notre Dame I'll talk about more next week, but their schedule should allow them to win every game this year. If they don't, then that means they slipped up and they did something wrong. Which I think this year they're going to learn from the mistakes of not starting out fast, which is something that they have not done the past couple of years.
That's their problem, dude. I don't think they're going to again. I just think that's them. I don't think they're going to again, but their schedule, like you said, is very favorable. Like it is legit. Like, and I'm glad you admit that. It is a absolute cupcake of a schedule. It's bad. But yeah, no, I just think that's the thing they do. Wisconsin, I mean, that's a game that, it's home, which I'm more confident.
It's at Lambeau, so it's not even home.
But a neutral site I think is even better in your favor, to be honest with you, because no offense, you're going to be getting Notre Dame fans there. Let's be real.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean,
even though it's in Wisconsin.
I was going to say the thing with the first game, which I'll talk about more next week, but I'll keep it brief now, is that like Wisconsin is like a very they play hard, they have a good defense. Like that gets me nervous because a week one team that plays physical like that makes me nervous because not every team is ready for that physicality because you're literally coming from practice to a game. Like college does not play preseason games, obviously. Like they may scrimmage each other, but it's not the same thing. So that's what makes me a little bit nervous. But if you can get through week one, then we should be okay. And you continue to win games, and then you get to the back end of the schedule, which is a little more challenging. We'll see, but I'll hold off on my full preview on them until next week, since they don't play until next Sunday, which is September 6th.
Right.
So yeah, we'll wait on that one. The Jets, they play Friday night, their last preseason game. Let's keep an eye on some things. I'll do a video on that, obviously on Friday, like I've done for the other preseason games. But the kicker situation has been solved. Jason Sanders has been announced as the kicker. Aaron Glenn has actually shown that he's more aggressive, I should say, in terms of his play calling. Doesn't mean if it's going to work, but he's shown more aggressiveness than the Jets shown all of last year on defense, which shows that he wasn't calling the plays. He really didn't have much involvement in it. He kind of left that off to Steve Wilkes, who was the horrible defensive coordinator that I've ever, one of the worst I've ever seen. But now Glenn has shown that he's putting his fingerprints all over this defense, and they've been much more aggressive, which in the preseason, you don't always see a ton of aggressiveness, but I think he wants these guys to understand what he wants from them. So yeah, that's pretty much it on them. And then I saw St. John's had picked up 2 late transfers, 2 good ones as well. So they needed it. They needed that because they got the one guy, I believe, from Syracuse, but he's now out for the year, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I did see
Freeman,
that.
Right? I think it was Freeman is his name.
He's
now out for the year, so they needed to replace him because he was pretty good, actually. I didn't know he was that good. He averaged like 16 points per game or whatever in the ACC, which ACC is good competition.
Yeah,
And he's
very
coming
good.
to the Big East, but now he's out for the year, so they needed to pivot. And they picked up 2 guys, I believe one from Auburn and one from Ole Miss. I could be wrong, but I know definitely one from Auburn. So good pickups, and the St. John's going to look to do some things there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much, I'm trying to think of anything else, but the Mets I'm not really going to talk about because they suck, and they're just hopefully the year ends. Carson Bench for Rookie of the Year, though. I'll tell you that he deserves it. He's been very good lately. So Carson Bench for Rookie of the Year. But anything on how you doing, and then we'll move to the pick'em to round this one out. Which we kind of got your hint on what you're going to go with for the game, but we want to get a little more on it.
Yeah, I was going to say Syracuse football. That's all I'm really worried about right now. Next week, they open up against New Hampshire. Should be a win. I'm just excited to be back in the Dome for a game. I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah.
This season's going to be very, very interesting just on the fact of how last year went, because obviously you know what happened. Angeli goes down. You lose a lot of guys. I mean, you lost Angeli. You lost your running back. The whole Jonte Cook thing just did not work out. The one wide receiver we had, he's a diva, did not work out. Just at all. When you don't have a quarterback to throw out to a guy like that, that causes a lot of issues. Just the offensive line just being not great, which it hasn't been really in years. Even when Kyle McCord was there, that offensive line they put out there stunk. I'll be honest with you, it was bad. But McCord made it work. But yeah, they should be pretty good defensively. That's what I'm looking forward to. They have a new defensive coordinator this year. He was the previous DC from Toledo. So I'm looking forward to their defense. They're going to be very good in the secondary. I think their secondary is very experienced. Antoine Delorier is back at linebacker. He's a really jacked dude. Defensive, the trenches is where I worry, defensively and offensively, because that's been the defensive line hasn't been horrible, but their offensive line's been pretty bad. In the quarterback situation, I'm very comfortable because Angeli's back, and the backup we have for him is very good. That Odom guy from Kennesaw State. And yeah, I think they should be pretty good. I'm just worried that, we look at it and maybe the Angeli going down wasn't the reason they were so bad. You know, I mean, maybe it's other reasons, but I don't think it is. I mean, it can't be. You'll look at that season. That's exactly what went wrong. So hoping for good things. We'll see. The schedule gets tough down the stretch. They have a really tough game week 3, which I'll be at Pitt, a Thursday night game. So that's always tough to play them on the road, and Pitt's had the better of us the last couple of years, as much as I hate them and Pat Narduzzi. They've had the best of us. They have. Yeah, we open up with New Hampshire, then we have Cal, which I think we should win that one. And then we play some tough games. We play NC State, we play Louisville, we play Notre Dame week 12. We play some really tough games this year. So interested to see how it's going to shape up for them.
All right. So it seems like you're excited, obviously. And like I said last week, I'm hoping that they're good. So when we talk about college football, it's not just you talking about the other teams. You actually talking about your team, which I didn't even realize. Yeah, next week you're going to be there. I didn't even realize that. I totally forgot.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. And this week is providing a good start for the football season coming up, because before you know it, it's going to be like almost every night you're going to want to sit on your couch and watch whatever game is on. But let's go to the pick'em, where we have Hawaii versus Stanford. People are probably like, oh, why aren't you picking the UNC versus TCU game? It's the first game of the FBS game of the year or whatever. Well, Corey is a UNC fan, so I don't want to put him in that spot. I don't want to do that to him. So we're going to stay away from any UNC games, any Notre Dame games, any Syracuse games, like we usually do. We usually stay away from our teams because you kind of know where we're going to go with that. So we're going to stay away from that. We're going to do Hawaii versus Stanford. I'm going to kick us off here, but before we do that, the standings. Biggie is now 6-2. Corey's 4-4, and I'm 3-5. We all got wins last week, so we just improved our records pretty much. Yep. We all went with the same teams. For this week, I am going to go with Hawaii. I know you said before Stanford's home or whatever. I really I don't know what is like. Stanford has fell off tremendously the last 3-4 years. And I think that Hawaii is going to continue to upset Stanford as they usually do. They did it last year. I think they're going to do it again, but a very competitive game. I'm actually going to watch it and be excited, locked in, because I think it's going to be a late possession thing. I'm going to go with Hawaii. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
And Corey is as well. So we'll see what you go with here. But Corey is also taking Hawaii. I just didn't want to forget.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Stanford Cardinal. I think with it being at Stanford, and I think they're going to be a little bit better. I don't think they're going to be very good. In Hawaii, I think is going to be a little bit down this year compared to years prior. So I'm going to take Stanford on this one. I'm going to go against you too.
All right. It feels so much better to pick football games than boring baseball games.
Yes,
so we're
I
almost there.
agree.
Like we keep saying, we're almost there. Any final thoughts you have here? This was, like we said, an easy episode before we hit the ground running in September coming up. Anything you got,
Right.
Biggie?
No,
Nothing?
I'm all good, man. You're right. This is a quick episode. My goodness. I think this might be the fastest we ever done one.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much to go down on. Next week.
I know.
But next week will be close to 2 hours because we have so much to discuss. But
Yes.
going forward, it's going to be like that because of football. But yeah, for this week, keeping it a little bit light. But yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 137. I just want to thank everyone for supporting us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything. I hope everyone has a great night and see you next week.
See ya.